and the winner of the 2012 New South Wales White Pages Community and Government Award is Lee De Winton.
This is an exceptional honour to be here, I must admit, and to the fellow finalists, congratulations to you all for actually getting to this stage. I'd like to thank the event coordinators and the sponsors, especially White Pages, for actually sponsoring this award. And at this point, I should say, please don't let the accent fool you. I am Scottish. Sorry, I am Australian, but like all Scottish people, I'm too tight to even give up my accent. 18 years ago, when the Australian Telstra Business Australian Women Awards commenced, there was many women entering business, and a review of the previous winners was an inspiration, and it is a privilege to be considered amongst them. So I went in search of other inspiring Australian women, and I'd like to share some of that with you right now. From a military perspective, I'm often confronted by people who say, this is no place for a woman, or it's a strange job for a woman, or why do you do it? But women in wartime environments are not strange, and so contrary to popular belief for centuries, women have been involved in key roles, management and leadership in wartime environments, not just keeping the home fires burning. Boadicea took up arms to defend her family and lands. Joan of Arc did a pretty good job leading her countrymen against the English, something which I don't mind. Florence Nightingale took a band of devoted women to nurse wounded soldiers in Crimea and led efforts to reform the British military hospital system. Mata Hari and Australia's Ethel Cooper and Nancy Wake acted as spies, organised and led resistance groups behind enemy lines. And in fact, in World War I, where it was supposed to be an all-male affair, a dedicated band of Australian surgeons, led by Dr. Elise Inglis, Agnes Bennett and Lillian Cooper, volunteered to serve in the Australian Army and were turned down by contemptuous recruiting officers and told to stay at home and knit. My, how the world has changed. So as not to take no for an answer, these Australian women paid their own passage to the UK and joined the privately funded Scottish Women's Hospital, working in field hospitals in Europe. An inspiring young Australian called Olive King not only paid her way there and volunteered as an ambulance driver, she even offered to donate the ambulance and was told she wasn't smart enough, tough enough to endure the stress of working in that type of role. Thankfully, the world has changed, especially since the Scottish Women's Hospital demanded the puritanical standards of no lipstick, no rouge, no high heels, no jewellery, and no dancing in uniform. The no dancing in uniform part is something that we should still adhere to for military men, especially after a ball. But today, military women have transitioned not only to running the hospitals, but to running the logistics, and now to running the fighting units. In 2008 in Afghanistan and in Timor, our Black Hawks were led by a woman. The main base, the Australian-led base in Afghanistan, has until recently been run by a woman, and that is something I hope to take up again next year. But one thing that hasn't changed in Australia is the Australian women's attitude, and that is that no is just the start of the negotiation. I'd like to leave you today with a little poem by a famous Scottish poet called Robert Burns, who was born in 1959 and was well advanced of his years. And it was an ode to the lasses. And he said, "Old nature swears her lovely dears, her noblest work she classes. Her prentice hand she tried on man, and then she made the lasses." Thank you and good luck.